Beyonce for sure. I love her. Like I love Beyonce. Jay-Z too. I really admire the both of them.
Uneducated gangster rapper, that's all she could come up with.
Welcome back to Fame Drop. The internet is buzzing like never before with one explosive question that could flip the entire pop culture world upside down. Rumors are flying that Beyoncé is shattered, absolutely torn apart. Court papers supposedly dropped a bomb, hinting that Kelly Rowland's son Titan isn't who people believed he was all along. The streets are whispering that Jay-Z might actually be the real father. If that turns out to be true, this isn't just some everyday gossip. It's betrayal at the highest level, one that could rip everything apart. We're talking about bonds that go way back to childhood, friendships that built the legacy of Destiny's Child, suddenly cracking under the weight of a secret too wild to believe. Even Beyoncé's flawless image, the queen who always looked untouchable, unshakable, above it all, could crumble in the spotlight. This isn't just scandal, it's a twist that could rewrite decades of music history, personal love stories, and the public's undying devotion in one breathtaking reveal.
I know so much on how you got where you are, how you stepped on many people.
Imagine.
Picture the fallout for Beyoncé, a woman who built her empire on loyalty, power, and total control. She stood tall through Jay-Z's very public affairs and messy confessions, but this? The thought that her closest friend, her sister for life, could have carried her husband's child is beyond scandal, it's destruction. Word on the inside says Beyoncé is shaken to her core, feeling like the walls of her private kingdom are collapsing around her. Court papers, the type that were supposedly meant to stay buried forever, have suddenly surfaced, and the second screenshots and snippets leaked online, chaos exploded across social media. Fans and critics alike are digging deep, fueling the storm with speculation that refuses to die down. The whispers claim Titan's true parentage is the family's most dangerous secret, a truth so dark it was never supposed to see daylight. And here's the kicker. Whether those documents are real or not almost doesn't matter anymore. Just the idea alone slices through the heart of Beyoncé's polished image, shaking the very foundation she's spent decades protecting.
Genius.
Beyonce.
Gorgeous. A stab to my self-esteem.
The internet wasted zero time before going full throttle, digging for proof that's been hiding in plain sight all along. Side-by-side photos of Titan and Jay-Z are flooding timelines, spreading like wildfire with captions screaming that the similarities can't be denied. The jawline, the nose, the expressions that look like they were ripped straight from Jay-Z's old pictures. It's enough to send fans into a frenzy. Some people swear the resemblance is way too strong to ignore, while others brush it off as pure coincidence. But either way, the debate has gone viral and refuses to slow down. And here's the catch. Once the public locks on to the idea that a lookalike reveals the unthinkable, there's no way to shove that genie back in the bottle. For Beyoncé, who's built her brand on flawless control, where every single photo is chosen with precision, having her husband's face mirrored in her best friend's son is a storyline she can't stop, no matter how tightly she tries to hold the reins. This twist has blown the storm wide open. Now fans are rewinding to Kelly Rowland's 2013 track Dirty Laundry. Back then, the song was praised for raw honesty, tackling pain, abuse, and inner battles. But today, people are dissecting every lyric with fresh eyes. They're whispering that Kelly wasn't just baring her soul, but secretly dropping hints about a love triangle hidden in plain sight. Lines about betrayal, manipulation, and truths buried behind metaphors are being read as coded confessions. Was Kelly venting her torment in music while disguising it as metaphor? Did the world overlook the clues because the reality felt way too outrageous to believe? Industry voices are pointing out how often artists weave real-life drama into their songs, and suddenly, Dirty Laundry feels less like a metaphor and more like a breadcrumb trail, a trail no one was ever supposed to follow until now.
I want to ask you about Jay-Z's album. I think it's genius. Like all of his projects, I thought it was really great.
Enjoying the video so far? Smash that like button and subscribe to Fame Drop so you're here for the next one. And now comes the money trail. the part that's making the internet lose its mind. Rumors are swirling that Jay-Z has been sliding payments to Kelly Rowland's family since 2014, the very same year Titan was born. That one detail set the web on fire. People are torn between two theories. Were these the sweet, generous moves of a godfather, or cold, calculated hush money meant to bury a truth too dangerous to leak? The timing is impossible to ignore, and fans can't stop asking the question. If Jay-Z was really sending out regular sums, how much did Beyoncé know? Was she in on it, keeping the silence alive, or was she being betrayed in her own house, with secrets stacking up behind her back? For almost 10 years, Beyoncé has been seen as the most in-control woman in the music game. Every step planned, every move flawless, so the thought of her being blindsided under her own roof feels almost unreal. But that's exactly why this rumor hits so hard. It feeds the fear that even the strongest queen can get shaken from the inside out.
Weirdo. I don't get no what you got in your head, that neural link. You'll never outthink me. Ever.
This bombshell doesn't live in isolation. It's tangled up with Jay-Z's history of messy entanglements and scandals that never really disappeared. He's already admitted to stepping out on Beyoncé before, famously pouring his guilt and struggles into music while their marriage nearly crumbled in front of the world. Entire albums, from him and from her, became a soundtrack of confession, heartbreak, and survival. But if Titan really is his child, that story twists into something far darker. No longer about a couple clawing their way back from betrayal, it turns into a long-running deception, not just against Beyoncé, but against the very woman she's always called her sister. That isn't just scandal, it's a wound that cuts through decades of loyalty. How does anyone come back from that kind of betrayal? And it's bigger than a marriage. It drags down the very foundation of Destiny's Child, once celebrated as a sisterhood rooted in trust and unity. Fans who once idolized their unbreakable bond are now questioning everything. Was every smile on stage, every tight embrace in front of the cameras, just a mask hiding an unbearable truth? People are pulling up old interviews with Kelly, replaying them with suspicion. One moment in particular, a dinner where she reportedly left in tears without explanation, is being reframed as more than emotion. Back then, fans thought it was nostalgia hitting too hard, but now it looks like a crack in the facade. Maybe a moment when the secret became too heavy to hide. And those viral moments, like when Jay-Z looked stunned running into Kelly at that premiere, are getting a second life online. Was that really the warmth of family ties, or the awkward jolt of facing someone carrying a truth he's been desperate to bury? Every glance, every pause, every clipped smile is being reanalyzed, and the internet won't let go.
At that time, I remember thinking, I can't be mad at her because that is what the media portrays.
And here's the brutal twist of irony. Not long ago, Kelly was out in public singing Jay-Z's praises after he slammed the Grammys for snubbing Beyoncé. She told reporters straight up, "Sean Carter is one of the greatest men I know, and his words ring so loud to me." At the time, it sounded like admiration, but now, that same statement is being replayed online with a dark undertone. Was she protecting him, covering for him, or was she just speaking as a loyal friend caught in the middle without realizing her words would echo back into a scandal she never asked for? Of course, the internet doesn't let coincidences slide. That quote has now become one more piece in a messy puzzle, fueling endless theories about how deep these bonds and the betrayals really go. And if it's true that Jay-Z has been secretly funneling payments since Titan's birth, the most pressing question hits even harder. Has Beyoncé known all along? Was she quietly carrying the storm on her shoulders to protect her brand, her children, her empire? Or is she finding out alongside the rest of us through leaks, whispers, and a media circus she can't escape? Either way, the picture is devastating. If she knew, then Beyoncé has been living the most intricate performance of her life, bigger than any world tour, keeping up an illusion of perfection while secretly enduring the deepest betrayal imaginable. But if she didn't, then the woman who taught us all about strength and control has been blindsided in the most personal, humiliating way possible. And the silence from everyone involved only makes it worse, thickening the tension in the air like a storm waiting to break. What happens to Destiny's Child if this rumor refuses to die down? Their legendary image as sisters united against the world is already splintering under the weight of speculation. Beyoncé, Kelly, and Michelle built a brand on friendship and loyalty, a bond that outlasted chart battles and solo careers. But if Jay-Z is tied to Titan, that nostalgia can never feel the same again. Fans who once saw them as untouchable role models are now questioning whether Destiny's Child was really a storybook dream or just a glossy cover hiding a reality too messy to admit. And for Beyoncé, the queen of modern pop royalty, this isn't just about music anymore. It's about legacy, marriage, motherhood, and whether the empire she built can survive secrets that feel too massive to ever stay buried.
I don't have no felonies. I'm not crazy and none of that. It's like, I just want the truth, and it's so hard to get it from the courts. And it seems like Jay-Z don't want to say anything. So, I don't want to see him go down for something that, you could have just got taken care of. That's it.
Step back from the frenzy around Titan, and a darker picture starts to take shape, one that fans and critics are now re-examining with fresh eyes. Because truth is, Jay-Z has never been free from whispers about secret kids and hidden relationships. Long before Titan's name ever hit the spotlight, there was the saga of Ramir, a young man who fought for years in court claiming Jay-Z was his biological father. The battle dragged on through endless appeals, with Ramir saying he was blocked at every turn by powerful lawyers and financial muscle. At the time, people brushed it off as a cash grab or clout chasing. But now, with Titan rumors exploding, those old headlines are coming back, being stitched together into something much bigger. The narrative forming online suggests Jay-Z's empire wasn't just built on music genius and business power moves. It was also built on burying personal scandals before they could ever grow roots. And with Titan's name now tied to the storm, the pattern feels impossible for fans to ignore.
Is it really a conspiracy if the same person keeps benefiting off the same kind of tragedy over and over?
And Titan's rumor storm isn't the only cloud hanging over Jay-Z's past, because old allegations are creeping back into the spotlight. People are dragging up whispers from the late 90s and early 2000s, especially those controversial rumors tying him to younger women in the industry. Even Nas took aim in his infamous diss track, dropping bars that hinted Jay-Z might have crossed boundaries with protégés like Foxy Brown. She's denied it multiple times, calling it flat-out fake news, but the whispers never really disappeared. And now, with the Titan story sparking fresh debates, fans are connecting dots and pulling receipts. They're pointing out that Jay-Z was pushing 30 when he started popping up next to teenage artists, posing as a mentor, while blurring lines in ways that feel downright unsettling when viewed through today's lens. The question hanging heavy in the air is simple but sharp. Is this just coincidence, or is it part of a long-running pattern, one of control, secrecy, and manipulation, that the industry chose to look away from because of Jay-Z's unmatched power and influence?
Oh, no. No, when I get nervous, I tell the truth.
We can't ignore the fact that the public's trust in Jay-Z was already shaky long before Titan's name ever came up. His own music handed us confessions of infidelity, raw moments where he admitted he almost lost Beyoncé. That whole saga, immortalized through Lemonade and 444, was sold to the world as a redemption story, a man facing his demons and a woman powerful enough to forgive. But now, that redemption arc looks paper thin, because if Titan really is his son, then those albums weren't about healing. They were about hiding, not a story of growth, but a calculated cover-up. Fans are starting to piece it together. Jay-Z's pattern might not be about learning from mistakes at all, but about mastering the art of burying them until the headlines die down. And with every old rumor dragged back into the light, the cracks in his king-like image get wider, and the picture of power he's built for decades starts to look more fragile than ever.
The family out tonight is a family affair. I saw your mother-in-law so proud of.
Yeah, we support each other. That's what we do.
And this trail of secrets pulls us straight into Beyoncé's family circle. Because when the silence is this loud, somebody has to be working overtime to keep the pieces from falling apart. For years, Tina Knowles has been cast as the matriarch, not just of Beyoncé's life, but of Destiny's Child as a whole. She's openly called Kelly Rowland her daughter, written glowing tributes about her, and proudly positioned herself as the glue holding this surrogate family together. But now, in the shadow of the Titan scandal, fans are revisiting Tina's role with sharp suspicion. Could she have known more than she ever let on? Did her instinct to protect Beyoncé's empire lead her to shield Jay-Z from the kind of scrutiny that could have shattered everything, and in the process, push Kelly into a painful silence? It wouldn't be the first time a powerful matriarch pulled strings behind the scenes to orchestrate damage control. And suddenly, every polished family photo, every heartfelt tribute, every perfect public moment is being reread as something else entirely, a possible cover-up. Which raises the big question, has Tina been the quiet architect of the Carter-Knowles empire all along, managing not just Beyonce's unstoppable career, but also the inconvenient truths threatening to unravel it?
But after that major documentary comes out on Diddy, then you're going to start to hear more and more about Jay-Z and his nefarious past, okay?
We've all seen Tina ride hard for Beyonce, fiercely defending her from critics and showering Jay-Z with glowing praise. For years, that loyalty was framed as love, pure and simple. But now, people are reading it with a whole new lens, and it looks a lot more like strategy. Think about it. If Tina knew about Titan's secret, then keeping the family brand intact would mean one thing: silence at any cost. And while the idea of Beyonce being blindsided by her husband is already heartbreaking, the thought of her mother possibly being complicit? That adds an even more devastating layer. It flips this from a marital scandal into a generational one. Fans are whispering that if true, this would mean the entire Carter-Knowles dynasty has been working together to guard a truth too explosive for the public to ever know. And that possibility alone is enough to shake the image of a family dynasty once seen as unbreakable.
You understand? I think that they don't want, if they was in any of those freak-off tapes, if they played a part in any of those Diddy sessions, they don't want it to get out to the general public to make up their brand.
At the same time, Jay-Z's history of ties with controversial figures like Sean Diddy Combs is dragging fresh suspicion into the mix. Every time new allegations drop around Diddy, Jay-Z's name somehow hovers at the edges. Sometimes it shows up in conversations or legal whispers. Sometimes it mysteriously vanishes from filings just as fast. Fans are pointing out the pattern. Jay-Z always seems to be standing on the sidelines of chaos, close enough to raise eyebrows, but rarely ever pulled into the center. Whether that's thanks to quick legal maneuvering, sharp connections, or sheer influence, the end result never changes. His name is cleared, his empire stays untouched, and the whispers fade, at least until the next storm. But this Titan scandal is different. It refuses to disappear. Instead, it's forcing fans and critics alike to start connecting dots across decades of headlines that once felt unrelated. The real question hanging in the air isn't just whether Titan is his child. It's whether we're looking at a whole blueprint Jay-Z has mastered, a playbook of escaping consequences time and time again.
You know, I don't want to embarrass this young lady, but she has more Grammys than everyone and never won Album of the Year. So even by your own metrics, that doesn't work.
Beyonce, on the other hand, has always wielded silence like her sharpest weapon. She doesn't sit down for messy interviews, she doesn't jump online to rant, and she rarely ever explains herself directly. Instead, she turns her pain and power into art, lacing her albums with hidden messages that fans spend months decoding. Lemonade was her way of speaking on betrayal without ever saying Jay-Z's name out loud, and it shook the world. So now the burning question is this: will she address Titan in her next project? Or will she double down on silence, refusing to even breathe life into the scandal by acknowledging it? The world is holding its breath, waiting to see if her next moves, whether it's a film, a new album, or even her public appearances, carry coded messages about betrayal, motherhood, or a broken sisterhood. If history tells us anything, Beyonce won't stand behind a mic and spell it out. She'll drip feed the clues, hide them in lyrics, visuals, and symbolism, and it'll be up to us to figure out whether the scars from this rumor cut too deep to be disguised. The stakes couldn't be higher for her. Her empire has never been just about the music. It's about the image, the aura of being flawless, untouchable, unshaken. She's the queen who survived her husband's betrayal and came out stronger. The friend who lifted Kelly Rowland and Michelle Williams as equals. But if Titan really is Jay-Z's son, all of that mythology cracks wide open. Suddenly, Beyonce isn't the woman always in control. She's the woman betrayed, not just by her partner, but possibly by her closest friend, and even her own mother. And for an empire that's been sold to the world as perfection, the illusion itself may prove harder to repair than the marriage at the center of it all.
How do you know I'm not a gangster, or used to be a gangster? I've been in the
were you?
music industry for 30 years.
Yeah, I mean, the industry is filled with gangsters.
Fans are already convinced that if Beyonce chooses to respond, it'll be nothing short of seismic. Picture it: A visual album dripping in symbolism, a cryptic lyric slipped into a live performance, or even a sudden shift in the way she publicly aligns herself with Jay-Z. Remember, Lemonade wasn't just music, it was a cultural earthquake. It gave us catchphrases, memes, think pieces, and an entire wave of women re-examining their own relationships. Now imagine if she did the same, but this time about betrayal within her own family circle. The cultural explosion would be unmatched. It wouldn't just rattle the music industry, it would shake the very idea of celebrity loyalty, image control, and how much power even the biggest stars truly hold. Right now, we're left with a storm of speculation, unanswered questions, and an empire that suddenly looks like it's wobbling on its throne. Because if Titan's paternity really does tie back to Jay-Z, then the Carter-Knowles dynasty is staring down its biggest test yet. Could Beyonce ever forgive a betrayal this layered? Could Destiny's Child still be remembered as a sisterhood of loyalty and unity? Or would the entire legacy feel rewritten under this shadow? And maybe the most haunting question of all, how long has this secret been hiding in plain sight, and who in their circle helped keep it buried? So here's where it lands. Do you believe this is the scandal that finally cracks Beyonce's empire wide open? Or is it just another rumor that will get swallowed by silence and spectacle? Because one thing's for sure, this story is far from finished.
15 and 22. Damn.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Now I can kind of see why he's probably not claiming it, because it looks bad on his reputation, because he has a history. Like if you look at like even Beyonce, like he was in his 30s and Beyonce was barely 19.
The big one was with Beyonce. When he signed that contract, the marriage contract, he got trophies. Those trophies came rolling in, buddy. He started getting Grammys left and
your father. I really do. And if it's not, why you can't prove me wrong? Like it's not far as a proving me wrong thing. It's go to the courtroom and basically do what everybody else would have had to do. Like it's not, you don't have to prove me wrong. I just want the truth. Honestly, I can take a no. I can take, if I'm embarrassed at the end of the day, I can take that. I really can. I've been through a lot, I've seen a lot. I can take me being embarrassed. Like this can't take nobody not saying nothing. Like, you know, it's not fair.
Jay-Z's alleged son, Rymir Satterthwaite, just caught another big break. And this time, it's thanks to none other than 50 Cent. Yup, 50 is now stepping in, offering to help Rymir take legal action against Jay-Z. And this comes right after a judge officially gave Rymir the green light to move forward with his case. Meanwhile, Jay-Z is reportedly sweating bullets over this. Instead of agreeing to a simple DNA test that could clear everything up once and for all, he decided to put out this strange statement accusing Rymir of harassing him for years. On top of that, Jay's legal team is now threatening to drag Rymir into court and expose his lies. At least that's what they're claiming. But here's where things get way more serious. Word on the street is that the real reason Jay-Z's been ducking this DNA test might have to do with how old Rymir's mother was when all of this went down. According to Rymir, his mom Wanda wasn't even a legal adult when 22-year-old Jay allegedly got her pregnant.
How old was she when you were born?
15 going on 16.
And everything saying that they had met. Now, how old was Jay-Z at the time?
I think like 22.
That's a huge allegation. So what's Jay really trying to cover up? Some folks already know that Jay almost got caught up in another scandal not too long ago involving his friend Diddy. One of Diddy's accusers said that Jay and Diddy both groped her when she was 13. Now, the woman eventually agreed to drop the lawsuit. But this story is far from over. She just came forward again saying she never took back her accusations. She claims the only reason she dropped the lawsuit was because Jay allegedly sent private investigators to scare her into silence. And the wildest part, almost no media outlets are even reporting this. It's like the whole thing is getting swept under the rug. Just take a look at places like TMZ or Shade Room. You won't find a single word about the Rymir situation over there.
Rymir was shot at somewhere in September. He was in a parking lot with other people near where he's at living now. And out of all the cars there, his was the only one shot up. So we believe that was a nexus or a connection, I believe, between the case and what's going on, because it was around the time.
This whole situation has been bubbling for weeks now, but the big celebrity news outlets are acting like it's not even happening. It's the same pattern they used with the Jane Doe case. None of them touched that either.
In addition to that, we've had people come to my home in the past, driving on the grass. We have people knocking on the door at 4 o'clock in the morning. We've been through all of it, mostly around the filing time.
And just last week, a judge actually threw out Jay-Z's defamation lawsuit against attorney Tony Busby, the same lawyer representing Jane Doe. That's no small deal. It's clear that a lot of this stuff is getting quietly brushed under the rug. And let's be real, most bloggers and media platforms seem way too nervous to call Jay-Z out.
This is a bigger picture than this. We want to try to make a difference with the Pro Se Act or the Legal Abuse Act, bringing new legislation and trying to sit down at the table with the lawmakers to make a difference. In addition to the fact, because, like you said before, Mr. Carter might not never do anything, and I'm sure he probably won't, but it ain't about him. This is about the system allowing things to happen that were very agreed and put our lives at stake in some regards. So I just wanted to say that's what another reason why we were still going to the criminal stuff for the second time. This time, the prosecutor's office locally did get involved, but everything is slow moving and things are happening. And, it's corruption going on. The law says in New Jersey that if the person who resists to take the test is presumed the father. That's what the law says. Here in New Jersey, anybody who don't want to do it and go away from doing it or prevents from doing it is presumed the father. So right now, he's presumed the father. He's not even alleged.
But you know who's not staying quiet? 50 Cent. He's been openly clowning Jay for dodging that DNA test, and now it's being reported that 50 actually reached out to Rymir and offered him his legal team to help him fight this case. Jay-Z's team is definitely feeling the pressure. His lawyers are scrambling right now, trying to shut down Rymir's case as fast as possible. They've even launched a whole PR campaign, trying to paint Rymir as unstable, just to distract from the real issue. But here's the thing. Jay-Z is out here spending all this money on lawyers when a simple low-cost DNA test could clear his name in minutes. That's got people wondering what's really going on. And this time, Rymir actually has the upper hand. With all these receipts dropping and 50 Cent standing in his corner, things are definitely looking shaky for Jay. Now let's break down 50 Cent's role in this whole mess. He decided to jump right into the drama between Jay-Z and his alleged son Rymir. First, he trolled Jay on Instagram, pointing out how Jay and Rymir actually look alike. That's what he said. But 50 didn't stop there. Sources close to the situation are saying 50 personally reached out to Rymir and offered the support of his top legal team. He even posted a cryptic message on Instagram saying, "A good lawyer knows the law, a great lawyer knows the judge." That one statement has people talking non-stop. This might just change everything. Up until now, Rymir's case has pretty much been ignored by all the major media outlets. But ever since 50 Cent got involved, things have changed fast. Suddenly, Jay-Z's team is on defense, scrambling to shut the whole thing down and discredit Rymir before the situation blows up any further. Jay-Z just filed brand new court documents asking the judge to dismiss Rymir's case completely. According to paperwork obtained by Us Weekly, Jay claims this lawsuit is nothing but the latest chapter in what he calls decades of harassment. His legal team says all of these fabricated allegations have already been rejected by multiple courts in the past, and they're accusing Rymir of flat-out ignoring previous rulings. They even claim Rymir's so-called harassment already led to a contempt order. But here's the thing. Rymir's former legal guardian, Dr. Lily Coley, who's also a paralegal, isn't letting that slide. She's calling out Jay-Z's new court filing and saying it's full of straight-up lies. In her statement, Dr. Coley made it clear, this story was not fabricated. Wanda's affidavit has been on record for years, and it's never been withdrawn. That's what she said. According to Dr. Coley, Wanda's statement is the reason Rymir even knows who his alleged father might be. She also claims Jay-Z's team is lying when they say Rymir was ever held in contempt of court. Dr. Coley made it crystal clear, no one involved in this case, not Rymir, not his late mother Wanda, and not even herself has ever been held in contempt. But the biggest point she made, the question of Rymir's paternity has never actually been fully addressed in court. Dr. Coley said, there has never been a discovery hearing or final ruling that resolves the paternity or other issues. And somehow, that key fact keeps getting left out of the media's coverage. And let's not forget another huge piece of this story, the age of Rymir's late mother, Wanda, when all of this allegedly started. That part keeps getting ignored too. Let's go back to the timeline. Rymir first popped up in the media back in early 2015 when news broke that he had filed a paternity suit against Jay-Z the year before, in 2014. That first complaint was filed with the help of his guardian, Dr. Coley, and from the jump, things got sketchy. That complaint was immediately shut down, and according to Dr. Coley, it's because Jay-Z and his lawyer, Lisa Fisher, allegedly brought fake and fraudulent information into court, but Rymir didn't back down. In 2018, he filed new documents, accusing Jay-Z of using his fame and money to dodge a simple paternity test. And here's where it gets really shady. The courts kept telling Rymir that his biological father had already been confirmed, but when he finally got a copy of his own birth certificate, guess what? There's no father listed at all. But that's not even the craziest part. Rymir later found out that some members of his own legal team were secretly working behind the scenes with Jay-Z's lawyers. How wild is that? In an interview with The Sun, Rymir said he's been robbed of his right to a fair hearing because of legal mistakes and straight-up malpractice. He also shared that his mother, Wanda, first told him Jay-Z was his father when he was just 8 years old.
I'm not a lawyer. They try to use all type of things, res judicata and all type of things to say, hey, whoever was on his birth certificate, that was the, you know what I mean? That was the dad. And that's not how the course works. So we did everything we had to do to, you know, show them that that wasn't. The person I was calling my pop took the DNA test. It was straight out there. Only other name was Jay-Z. He basically just sawed it and skedaddle. They try to use all this craziness to hold the case up. And I'm like, well, damn, if this was anybody else, I'm like, all right, the first 2 years.
They would have ordered them by now. They do that. Especially, yeah, like hey, take the test. Hell, in most cases, you can start drawing child support without a goddamn paternity. It makes them want to come do it.
According to Wanda, she and Jay had a fling back in 1992 at his aunt's apartment in the Brooklyn projects. Wanda said they used protection that night, but it failed. After that, she never saw Jay again and had no way to reach him. Things took a heartbreaking turn in 2010 when Wanda's health started to decline. That's when Lily Coley, a family friend and paralegal, was granted custody of Rymir. Lily also spoke to The Sun at the time, revealing that Wanda told her she got pregnant right after meeting Jay-Z, when she was only 15 or 16 years old. That's a serious allegation, and it makes this whole case even more complicated. And it gets darker. According to a lawsuit Rymir filed in Philadelphia in 2018, Jay-Z's legal team allegedly made Wanda sign legal documents while she was in the hospital, recovering from a medicated coma. They reportedly swapped out Lily's name on the petition without her consent, and for shady reasons. That move ended up getting the whole case tossed out of the Philadelphia court. Rymir's family says they've never seen corruption like that before, and the pain it caused was beyond words. But things didn't stop there. It got even more sinister. When Rymir and Dr. Coley went on Hip Hop News Uncensored, they revealed that Rymir was shot after filing his lawsuit against Jay-Z. That's what they said. And get this, Lily says that around the same time Rymir filed the lawsuit, random people started showing up at her doorstep trying to scare her into staying quiet. That's next level intimidation. Lily also pointed out that this case is about more than just Jay-Z. It's about exposing how the rich and powerful can twist the legal system in their favor. She says it's time for real change, laws that protect regular people from this kind of legal abuse. Meanwhile, Rymir isn't giving up. He filed a brand new lawsuit, this time against the New Jersey court system itself, plus several judges. He's accusing them of working with Jay-Z for over a decade to get his cases thrown out. In the lawsuit, Rymir and Dr. Coley claim that Jay-Z lied under oath, saying he didn't own any property in New Jersey. Why? Because if the court believed that, they'd think they had no jurisdiction over him. That's a major accusation.
If it was anything, if y'all felt like we was lying, why y'all ain't dismiss the case with prejudice? Why do y'all keep having us come in there and file and pay all this money and keep filing and filing for years? Why? If y'all didn't see anything wrong with the case, why is it not over? But the only thing I'm asking is, I don't want no money from you. You know, if you don't want to have that relationship, if it was true, that's just on you. You know, I'm just showing you that I'm fighting for what I believe in is right. And I want all the kids and everyone that come behind me. If you missing the parents, it's all about, sometimes this That's all you need to know what your parents says. You don't need nothing from them. It close the book. It just helped me, go on with my life and just be straight. It's not like I'm looking for anything, looking for you to bring me up where you at or bring me with your family and all. I still got my own family, but I just want you to be like, just think about it. Like, we could have got this, over with, and through all this, I still respect you, even though I might not like you. I respect everybody.
I was gonna say, how do you view him now?
And it's like, and when I say I don't like you, it's not even it's just that I feel like, y'all sit at the top and y'all forgot where y'all came from. And sometimes you got to bring yourself down to the bottom. You can't sit at the top and think all these, I'm rich and all that. And if I go to court, this would affect this. And sometimes you just got to get it over with. If you believe this wasn't true, it would have been over with, And for you to let me just sit here and after all this, my mom passed away. And I'm not saying you physically, but dragging us to court and all that, not taking care of the problem. It's just, you let it happen. So it's like, you could have got this over with. If it wasn't true, we could have, I would apologize. I apologize in front of the world. Hey, it could have been done, but obviously it's something you hide.
But here's where things really start to heat up. Rymir's team found property deeds and tax records with Jay-Z's name on them, proving he does own property in New Jersey. So that whole claim about no jurisdiction looks like that wasn't true at all. Rymir's complaint also calls out 6 different judges who he says were involved in this mess. According to the lawsuit, these judges worked with Jay-Z, whose real name is Sean Carter, to keep pretending he didn't own any property in New Jersey. And why? Because if the court believed that, it made it easier for them to keep tossing out Rymir's cases. Rymir and Dr. Coley say this is about more than just court paperwork. This is about wealth and power being used to manipulate the entire system. They're claiming Jay-Z used his influence to get their lawsuits denied and blocked at every turn. And things got even scarier when Rymir started speaking out publicly. According to the lawsuit, someone shot at Rymir's car, and both he and Dr. Coley were followed around their own neighborhood by unknown people. They even said cars pulled up onto their lawn at 4 o'clock in the morning. They believe these weren't just random events. They're convinced it was all part of a campaign to silence them.